All right, by popular demand, we are back for another installment of my favorite fragrance from several top brands. We have 10 more brands we're talking about today, and the prerequisite for each choice is that I had to have spent time with at least 5 fragrances from each brand in order to choose my favorite. All of my favorites I do currently own. There are some fragrances from some brands that I've smelled before that I really do enjoy, but it's been a while since I've smelled them, so they could actually be contenders for my favorites, but I don't own them and I haven't smelled them in a long time. So we're going with what I have in my collection, 10 more brands. Let's dive right into it. All right, in no particular order, first one up here coming from Francesca Bianchi. This is called Etruscan Water. And at least up to this point, wow, up to this point in time, I've actually smelled all of her fragrances. She sent me a discovery set months back with 12 fragrances. I spent about a month and a half getting to know each one of them, and I chose this one as my favorite. There was a couple of others that were contenders, but this one wins it for me. This is the freshest option that she offers, and by freshest, it's not very fresh. It has a little bit of citrus to it. It has a little bit of an aromatic quality, but it's mostly an animalic aquatic. That's the best way I would describe it. Lots of oak moss in here, kind of deep, rich, woody, mossy, earthy, but there is this slightly bright, slightly tart freshness in there that makes it a little bit open, a little bit aromatic, as I said, maybe some spice running around. Beast mode as well, very, very strong. Has a sexy quality to it on the skin. All of her fragrances do. They have this very, again, animalistic, natural, sexy, human funk feel, but not in a stinky way. They don't smell stinky, but they are a little brash and they are edgy. But definitely worth checking out. Get you a discovery set. All of her perfumes are wonderful. This one happens to be my favorite, Etruscan Water. Coming from the house of Gucci, Gucci has a number of wonderful fragrances, especially now that they are actually trying to put out stuff that is different and that is unique. And they have a history of amazing fragrances that unfortunately I have not smelled. Stuff from like the early 2000s when Tom Ford was running the ship in terms of creative direction. Gucci Rush and Gucci Envy. Unfortunately, I don't have experience with those. So maybe those could have been my favorite, but they are discontinued. And in my opinion, they're not worth the price to buy just because they're discontinued. More about that topic in this video if you missed it. But this one we're talking about is Gucci Guilty Absolute Pour Homme. I've talked about it a lot. It's kind of a broken record for me at this point, so I'll save you some time. But yeah, it came out 2017. I smelled it when it came out. I was hesitant when I smelled it, but it drew me in. There was something about it that was captivating. I couldn't stop smelling it. I knew I wasn't ready to have it just yet, but I knew I would own it at some point. Earthy, animalic, woody, dry leather, kind of medicinal, no sweetness here. Very confident, very authoritative, unapologetic. That sums it up. That is Gucci Guilty Absolute Pour Homme from the house of Paco Rabanne. I've smelled several, and honestly, I don't really care for the house that much. I still have yet to smell the new 1 million Elixir, I think. Elixir is the new trend. We'll see what Chanel does. Waiting on you for Bleu de Chanel Elixir. Waiting on it. Anyway, this is an early release, I think from 2018. One that I slept on because I was jaded already by the house, but this one actually surprised me enough to get a bottle, and I've been loving it. I haven't worn it in a while, but it's always a great fun scent to wear at night when it's not too warm. This is 1 million Lucky. This is a delicious smelling fragrance. This smells like honey and woody hazelnut and some plum, and there's a brightness from aldehyde, so it's a little bit fresh. So it's sweet, it's kind of sticky and rich, it's woody and nutty, and there is this kind of freshness in there. It's a very interesting mix of elements, a little bit standout in terms of a designer fragrance, especially in regards to the year it was released. Not much was smelling quite like this. It was a nice little departure from your standard, sweeter, mass appealing fragrances, and I am still really enjoying it. 1 million Lucky. From Mancera, I have several bottles. I've tried many. And I really wanted to try to be different here. I wanted to try to choose the one that most people wouldn't choose, or choose one that you wouldn't expect. And I was thinking about Kumquat Wood, which I enjoy. I was thinking about Instant Crush, which I really enjoy. I wore that last night and I love the smell. It's so rich and sweet and saffron-y and kind of jasmine-y floral and almost powdery in a way, but thick. I almost wanted to choose Oud Lemon Mint. I only have a decant of that one. there's something about it that still kind of rubs me the wrong way, but not in a way that keeps me from wearing it. I do enjoy it, but I'm not ready to commit to it as my favorite or even as a bottle. But I can't deny this one is still my favorite. Smell alone, in terms of intuitive, I smell it and I'm like, yep, this is my favorite one. This is Mancera Cedar Boisé. I can't deny, I smell it. I don't have to try to like it. I don't have to be in the right state of mind. Every time I pick it up, I like the smell. It's not the most amazing fragrance to me, but it's really, really nice. It is fruity, citrusy. I get almost this powdery, dusty feel from it, and it's quite woody as well. It's easy to wear, it's very versatile, it's very likable, and it has good performance. So this is like most fragrance lovers' dreams, at least in terms of the ones that want to just simply smell good. This is all you need if you love it. But this is my favorite from the house so far. But I'm still open. I'm gonna be trying others, but this one is good. Cedar Boisé. From the house of Diptyque, I've tried several. One fragrance from here that could be a contender for my favorite, but I haven't smelled it in years and I don't own it, is Eau de Well. That is a gorgeous vanilla, kind of boozy vanilla fragrance. Very unusual. It doesn't smell all that edible, but it's still sweet. It's still very alluring. I have been meaning to get a bottle of that for years. I probably will. But this one right now is my favorite from what I've smelled besides that, and my favorite from what I own for sure. This is Philosykos. This is the Eau de Toilette. They have an Eau de Parfum version I haven't smelled. But this is such a gorgeous summer fragrance. I'll be getting a lot of wear out of this. This is fig. This pays homage to the fig tree. The fig fruits, the twigs and the leaves. There's a green quality to it. There's a fruity sweetness. There's a dry woodiness that's not too dry. It's mostly in the background. But there's a little bit of this tropical twist with coconut, adding this creamy feel that is really beautiful. Smells just uplifting, something to wear in the sunshine. Under the heat, it's gonna smell wonderful. I still love this stuff. I still recommend it. Perfectly unisex, might lean a little feminine to some, but not really. Perfectly balanced to me. That is Philosykos. From Lalique.
Diptyque, Lalique, Diptyque, Lalique.
Here we are at Lalique. I have several, and this is still my favorite. Again, I smell all of them. I smell this one, I'm like, yep, this is the one. I don't have to be in the right mood. It puts a smile on my face every time. This is L'Insoumis. Very inexpensive, like most of the fragrances from the house in terms of discounted prices. And once again, a very uplifting fragrance. This is, to me, it's like sweet, sugary rum with woods and some spices. There's this kind of crushed sugar feel with rum that is very summery, fun, and party-like.
It's like a party.
And it smells amazing. It is a little fresh, it's sweet, it's playful. There's something a little bit distinguished about it where you could wear this maybe in like a business casual setting, but I do think it thrives as a fun going out fragrance that does not take itself too seriously. Wonderful stuff and fairly unique for the price. L'Insoumis from Lalique, good stuff. From the house of Bon Number 9. Admittedly, Bon Number 9 is not my favorite house. They don't really move me. I've smelled several from the brand. They all smell way overpriced for what you pay for them. They smell like they should be in the $80 to $100 range, but a lot of people seem to like them, and they have a massive portfolio. It's overwhelming. I think they have over 150 fragrances in their collection, but out of the ones that I've tried and owned, this is my favorite one. This is Bon Number 9, Scent of Peace for him. It does smell reminiscent of a Ventus. It's in that realm. There's this like citrusy, woody, fruity, musky quality to the fragrance. It is like a very kind of congealed and simplified Aventus. A little bit of a greenness as well. Maybe the green quality is a little bit heavier here than what you would find in Aventus, but not a green fragrance by any means. Smells really good. In terms of these types of profiles, I actually prefer Cedar Boisé, but it's really nice. Honestly, redundant to me if you own Cedar Boisé to have this or vice versa. If you can find it, get you a sample. That is Scent of Peace for him. All right, from Masque Milano, many years back, I tried all of their fragrances. They have several more that they've come out with that I haven't checked out. But out of the, I don't know, 10 fragrances of theirs that I've smelled, this was my first love. There's a couple of others that do still have my attention. Fragrances like Mandala, fragrances like Tango, and there was one more, Monte Cristo, beautiful tobacco fragrance. But this one is still the one where I smell it and I'm like, yep, I could wear this right now. This is Russian tea. This is stunning and it's different. This is sweet raspberry, sweet and slightly tart, very realistic raspberry with mint. So there's this cooling quality. This is mixed with black tea and black pepper, and there's some smokiness in there, maybe from like incense. It really does smell like a cup of tea with a slight dash of fruit in there. It actually is a little bit sweet. There's like almost a honeyed quality to it. It's not slightly sweet, it's pretty sweet, but it is well balanced with that freshness, with that smokiness and the spices, and the tea is front and center. It's very strong. You don't need much of it. This is a very cozy smelling scent, something to wear when it's not too hot, maybe on a rainy day, either hanging out inside. It could also be a little bit of a special occasion fragrance too, but I think it's wonderful. It's very specific, it has focus, and it's transportive. That's what I'm looking for in my fragrances. You don't have to put everything in there that smells good. Give me a clear idea. I want to smell a picture, I want to smell a poem, something. That's just me. I'm an artist, that's what I'm looking for. If you're looking for something else, that's fine. But I love Russian tea. In fact, the whole house is wonderful. Check them out. From Amouroud, I have proclaimed this as my favorite several times already, so this is a little redundant, but Lunar Vetiver is still doing it for me. One of my top favorite vetiver fragrances, period, and my top 3 for sure. This is very spicy, fresh vetiver. It has the type of vetiver quality that's similar to something like Tom Ford Gray vetiver. If you know that clean, fresh but woody vetiver, that is the vetiver quality here. But honestly, to me, it's a little bit higher quality. And it's mixed with chili pepper, making it kind of hot and spicy, but it does have a freshness to it. And it dries down with this nice little duality of a sweetness like a vanilla or a tonka bean or both. So it's not just spicy, bitter, green, fresh, woody vetiver. It is that, but it's mixed with a nice little slightly creamy, smooth sweetness that adds some dimension to the scent. It smells wonderful, lasts great on the skin, can be elegant, can also be casual, very versatile actually. So check out Lunar Vetiver. You have to enjoy vetiver because it is pretty specific with vetiver at the forefront, but I love vetiver, so this is up my alley. That's Lunar Vetiver. And finally, from the House of Penhaligons, I've tried many of their offerings. They have a lot of really good stuff. There's a lot of them I have not tried as well. So you have to forgive me if your favorite is not here. That goes for all these brands. I was gonna choose Sartorial, which is great. Endymion is beautiful. Orange Blossom,
not my favorite.
but this one, you guys probably already know, is still my favorite. And unfortunately, it's not that easy to get for some reason. But this is Halfeti Cedar. I still have yet to actually try the original Halfeti and Halfeti Leather. Oh man, this is rich. This is so amazing. It reminds me of the holidays. It reminds me of cooler weather, chilly winter air or fall air, bundled up but classy. This is dried fruits, peach, rum with a lot of cedar wood, spicy, dry, peppery cedar wood with this kind of prune fruit quality to it, but it is kind of opulent and there's that nice booziness. It's sweet, but it's a pruny kind of sweet, if that makes any sense. It's a stunning fragrance and I like to wear it more on the classy side. I do like to dress it up in more earthy tones. I think it works beautifully. Stunning fragrance, still my favorite from the house. We'll see if something will top it, but I do love Halfeti Cedar. Get a sample if you can. I'll link to what I can find down below. It's hard to get, as I said, but totally worth it if you can try it. Halfeti Cedar from Penhaligons. That's gonna do it for me. I'd love to know, have you tried any of these fragrances? Are any of these your favorites from the houses that you've tried? I'd love to know down in the comments. Let me know. Please consider joining the Fresh Squad. It's the easiest thing you've done all day, I guarantee it, because it's totally free. Subscribe, join the squad, never miss a video, increase and elevate your freshness, which is more than just about smelling good. It's about you being your best, most unique and individual self and treating others with kindness and letting others do the same. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.